Hey, what's happening, all my ponies out there? I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'm coming at you with another My Little Pony Friendship is Magic episode review. This time it's Season nine's Episode 13, titled Between Dark and Dawn, where we see the main six on another adventure trying to stop this giant tortoise from devouring all of Applejack's summer harvest. And so, as they come in, Spike ends up being almost eaten by the giant tortoise, you know, in its endless feeding frenzy. So Twilight devises a plan by having Pinkie Pie and Applejack distract the beast, Rarity and Rainbow Dash tying up the creature's mouth, and Fluttershy giving it a stern talking to cut that shit out. And as Twilight rescues Spike, she gets set to teleport the creature away, only for two unknown figures to appear. It's, of all people, Celestia and Luna, who I love Rainbow Dash's comment because she's been on top of this entire season of being like, of all times that they actually show up to help us, they choose now. Like, seriously, bless your heart, Rainbow Dash. But they basically use the same spell that Twilight was about to use to teleport the tortoise away, which Twilight's just like, I was literally about to do that. But this is more of a friendly romp for the two sisters who have gotten a taste for adventuring, and they just really were just having a little bit of fun. But Applejack kind of speaks the whole premise of the entire plot of it's like, how often are they going to do this? And our answer comes when Fluttershy almost kind of falls through a bridge that is in desperate need of repair, and the sisters literally fly in a whole nother bridge. And it's on this panel I have to comment on this episode's writer, Gail Simone, one of the longest comic book writers out there today. Like, she's done some of my most favorite books between what was it? The Secret Six, Birds of Prey, Batgirl, just phenomenal writing in a lot of places. And she hasn't really done anything since Batman Brave and the Bold and even Justice League Unlimited. So it's been a while since she's actually written for a television episode. And I'm really curious as to why she ended up writing on this one of all things. Just so many questions about that. But this episode, I have to say, is one of the most cringy but fun, and I've never cringed more and I've never laughed more, all within the same instance. For every cringe there is a laugh that follows, as Fluttershy's a little taken with just how it was a very unnecessary gesture in flying in a whole nother bridge. And when Rainbow Dash is leading a very failed scout mission, the sisters come down literally from on high to help reveal the path to the campsite for them. And when Mrs. Cake has a order for the school that she hasn't fulfilled, Pinkie Pie says that she's all too ready to bake up a storm for the order for the school, only for Celestia and Luna to literally break down their door like the Kool-Aid Man, coming in to help out. And Pinkie Pie's expression here is fantastic. Just wonderful. A plus, A plus, A plus. But naturally, everyone just comes to Twilight and just like, okay, this is too much. It's great to have them helping out, but they're just going about it in all the worst and wrong kinds of ways, and it's very unnecessary because it makes it feel like they don't think we can do anything on our own. And Twilight starts to wonder if maybe it's because they're having second guesses of even having the main six one day rule the entirety of Equestria. But in come the princes, ready for this strategy meeting they were never invited to. And, Twilight asked the $1 million question as to why they're doing this exactly. Aren't there bigger issues that they should be addressing? But ultimately, they say that they feel that they need to be out in the field more. Their adventure fighting off the ever-free forest with a Star Swirl the Bearded opened up their minds to the idea that maybe they should actually be out amongst the people, helping out where they can. They've gotten too settled in castle life and they want to be out there doing things for various other people. But Rainbow Dash ultimately says that while that's nice and all, maybe you're going about this the wrong kind of ways. And Pinkie Pie even suggests that maybe they should set up a kind of list of things that they want to do. That way they can actually go through it in order. Basically a bucket list for the most things. Things that they've always wanted to do. Which the sisters are all too happy to do. But they wonder who will actually... They can't really just leave and just go about having their own adventures. They have responsibilities and duties, and the only reason they've been able to just go out so far is because they treated it as, oh, we're going off to solve an important issue. But Twilight, in a very uncharacteristic moment, says, well, we'll just take care of all your royal duties and all that good stuff. And Twilight just fully takes on all the responsibilities and duties with, her friends saying that they've got the sisters back, which they're all too happy to pass along, especially the swan thing that the sisters had planned. So it's just like they're completely passing everything off to them, even despite the fact that Twilight very much doesn't know what this thing is. But the sisters are all too happy to, just get ready to fill out this list with various dreams and wants and desires, to which it's just kind of nice to really see an episode going into the sisters' personal lives. Because think about it, at most, the sisters really only ever appear in 5 episodes max per season. And that's 26 episodes, barring what I think it was the 3rd season, which only had 13. And even then, they didn't appear that often. But what was it? We had a Celestia episodes with the royal problem with a Celestia and Luna episode, and then we had Celestia in Horseplay, and then we had the Luna episodes, which was Luna Eclipse, and then you had the Do Princesses Dream of Magic Sheep. I literally just kept a list of those episodes where they were core elements to the story, and it's all of 4 between them. Everything else, it was something where they were solving a problem or helping out with something. Nothing where they were actually involved or the main focus. And even when they were the main focus, it was never truly about them. But here, it's truly about the sisters, and they get to shine in their various different personalities. And we actually get to see a bit of how things go on between the two of them, whereas they have a very different opinion of what they should do, with Celestia being all about the adventure. She wants to be active, she wants to get out there, she wants to do things. But Luna, on the other hand, wants to just take some time to rest, as she, has to go exploring all these intense dreams every night, dealing with all these very troubling situations and high stress moments. So all she wants to do is relax and have some downtime. But Celestia, on the other hand, all she really has is kind of downtime. Photo ops, delegation, legislation, all that stuff. Just very boring stuff during the day. And she wants to go out there and adventure, experience. She wants to do kind of like what she did during the Horseplay, where she was just in a play for herself. She wanted to act, perform, do things. But they ultimately decide that they'll split the difference between the two of them. They'll do one thing one wants to do, and then the other thing the other wants to do, and just go for it from there. And they want to do it together because they haven't gotten to really spend too much time together. thousands of years apart, man. Just they want to be together. And Luna is all too excited. She's even got like the traditional vacation shirts and all that good stuff. While Celestia is all stocked up on various provisions and, sunscreen and all this other stuff. Luna's about to chill and Celestia is about the preparedness. And as they embark, they leave, the girls and Spike with the instructions for the swan thing, whatever. And, Twilight's just like, we got this, no worries. But they're also leaving Twilight in charge of raising the sun and the moon each night and give them a pendant infused with their power. But as soon as Celestia and Luna leave, Twilight admits to having no idea what they're doing at this point, not even knowing what the swan cotillion or whatever it is actually is. But apparently it's this kind of event where the swans are paraded throughout the streets of Equestria, and then they have this party in, the castle afterwards, which is, Rainbow Dash asks $1 million question as why you would actually do anything like this. But, with the aggressiveness of the swans, that's what makes it apparent. Just an appeasement for the volatile swan population. But Twilight feels that with this, they'll be able to prove how capable they are of, actually ruling Equestria in the future. And as the sisters set off on their adventure, we actually get a nice little song, a very cute song actually called Lot of Little Things, which they say is inspired by Pinkie Pie's saying, because they want to go out and explore and just enjoy the little things of life, take some relaxing adventure, and for the most part they seem to be having a lot of fun, exploring, going place to place, enjoying themselves. But it also becomes apparent that Luna's getting a little tired, a little exhausted from all the traveling, and a lot of the thrill-seeking that Celestia is going for. And I love this pony depiction of Wicked of all things. Like, dude, pony Wicked? Ah, man, I want to see the real Wicked one day. But obviously, whereas Luna enjoys the artistic side of life, Celestia is none too into that, caring more for the thrill and adventure and the, heart-stopping peril. And Luna is exhausted. And meanwhile, where we actually see the girls meet with the Swan Party Committee, whatever, who are actually there to help out with the preparations, Twilight turns them away, feeling confident that they can handle it. But whereas everyone's just like, why would you do such a thing? Twilight doesn't want to hold on to any help because she wants to feel that she has the ability to hold her own in this situation, which proves that she's learned nothing from the season 9 premiere, where Discord was just like, yeah, don't do that. But, once she actually sees the list of things they need to do for the whole Swan event, she kind of reconsiders a little bit of what she got the girls into. Meanwhile, Luna is also having reconsiderations as she's very much getting not too pleased with the various unbelievably dangerous things her sister has her doing. However, once they get around to what she wants to do, we get one of the cutest moments as Luna actually wants to mail a letter. And we have a nice little appearance by Derpy, who mails the letter, which is immediately delivered to Celestia. And, Luna just enjoying the process of having mail delivery, as she's always, asleep during the time where mail delivery would go on. And during a spelunking mission, they get trapped, and we have this nice little moment where we see them in kind of 80s fashion. I love how cute Luna looks here, but man, goth Celestia, that is great. And as things go along, their song about the little things starts to become all the little things that they're annoyed by from each other, as it becomes apparent that, they're not too happy over how the various things they're doing on the list, and tensions kind of reach their boiling point. Speaking of which, the girls are having none too great of time, as they can't get everything prepared. And as the committee comes in once again, just looking things over, they also make it known that there's a street cleaning strike, so that and they can't put down the various props and event stuff that they need to put down for the upcoming event as well. So all these different things are starting to clash, and this fancy pants dude isn't too thrilled with their decorations for the event either. But Twilight pushes them out the door, saying that they've got this, they can do this, they don't need their help. And on the sister's side, it starts to kind of become apparent that tensions have reached their boiling point, and some passive aggressive language is shared between the two. As Luna is none too happy with the dangerous situations Celestia keeps pulling her into, and Celestia isn't too happy with the various boring things that Luna's interested in. She cares none for the arts. And Celestia accuses Luna of never being happy. But Luna says that it's because of her sister that she is never happy. It's because of what her sister does that she can never be happy. But, Celestia snaps back on this, saying that maybe if Luna just followed her lead, she'd be a little bit happier. If she just followed her orders and was a little bit more passive. However, then we get a little bit more back and forth where Luna accuses her of always needing to be in control and never letting her share the spotlight. As for when, events of the past where she was always trying to kind of just constantly hog the spotlight and only have the fun for the daytime, and that's why it turned her into Nightmare Moon in the first place. And so they end up saying some very hurtful things to each other, and they decide that maybe it's best if they just split off and do their own thing from there on out. And as Twilight realizes that maybe they haven't gotten a complete hold on everything, the geese start to literally up and start almost rioting in the streets. And, the one committee member, Pony, says, well, this, the sisters never really took control of everything. They delegated, they handed out various duties and handed things off to others because they had other things they had to handle. That's kind of the excuse given as to why the sisters aren't always involved. But it's not the little things that the sister needed to be involved in, it's the world ending stuff that the sisters need to be involved in. That's when the main six actually needed their help. So bam, get that weak ass excuse out of here. But Twilight realizes that's what they need to do and has them delegate various duties to others in order to have things, put in place and in order. So they actually do manage to get a lot of things put in order, settled down, and just resolved for the most part, showing that Twilight is starting to realize what needs to be done to be a good ruler, which is what we should be having. If she's going to rule, she should actually be learning what needs to be done so she can rule. Like, not just this haphazard, yep, Equestria is yours now, have good luck, have fun. Like, seriously, there should be a little bit more going on in terms of that. But, as Luna finally gets her downtime and her chill time, she actually starts to notice the various families and sisters having fun, and she starts to get a little bit jealous. Celestia gets her skydiving thrill seeking, but notices a lot of paraphernalia of her and her sister, and starts to kind of lament leaving her sister behind. And as Luna ends up getting a lot of sunburn, she realizes she probably should have used sunscreen, something that her sister would have been a bit more prepared for. And as Celestia ends up getting lost in the forest, she realizes that Luna usually handled, direction. She had this instinctive nature for situations like that. And we also find out that Celestia has an irrational fear of chickens. Weird. But they end up meeting up with each other at this one mountain, as one was going to watch the moon set, and the other was going to watch the sun rise. And they kind of, when they get up to the mountain peak, they realize, you know, being apart, maybe they didn't have the most in common, but they did miss each other and they liked being with each other. And as they watched the shooting star go across, they realized that, you know, all this time, while they said all that hurtful things, and you know, while some of it to a certain degree is true, you know, Luna still looks up to her big sister on a lot of situations. And Celestia still wants to be there for her little sister. They still care for each other. They still love each other. And that is the most, first and foremost. They still care for each other no matter what. And they will miss each other as they have missed each other when they were away from each other. They care and they bond and they love. And that's what matters in the end. But this touching moment is unfortunately broken up by the fact that the sun and the moon are both up at the same time, and they realize is that Twilight might be having a little bit of a hard time with the pendant. And as we see that, you know, Twilight needs a little help from this device that Sunburst had sent them, you know, as Twilight uses it to help her out with the rising of the sun and the moon, she ends up breaking the device by getting a little too overzealous. And our episode ends with Celestia and Luna racing back to the castle to resume their duties. A fun, interesting episode, and I'm glad we finally had an episode dedicated to the two sisters. Like, I feel like should have had this like seasons ago, not during the final season. You know, Celestia was fun, and it was interesting just to see how just frantic and very over the top she can be, and how Luna could actually be very subdued. You know, Celestia has a sunny personality. Luna has a very, you know, creature of the night personality, which fits for them for the most part as to who they are. You know, and I heard someone say that it was very much out of character. No, we've barely really gotten to see what their everyday, you know, day after day personalities were, because we never truly have episodes dedicated to them. We have 4 character driven episodes. For Celestia, it is that, hey, she likes cake. She wants to be involved a little bit from time to time. She wants to go out and do things from time to time. That's about it for her. With Luna, it's, oh, she wants to be a little bit more involved in the everyday life of various characters. You know, she likes to just have some downtime away from being this intense character. And she wants to, you know, just, she still kind of feels reluctant over the fact that she was Nightmare Moon. She feels a little bit down about that, and that's about it for her character. You know, everything else we don't really explore outside of how the main 6 interact with them. And you know, if anything, we see how dysfunctional they can be from time to time, but you'd figure that from the fact that one ended up being corrupted by her own darker desire and wants, and the other had to heap everything onto themselves. And you know, instead of helping to free their sister, they banish their sister. And you know, it shows that they have their own issues, problems, faults, all that good stuff. But you know, that's my thoughts on this episode. And also, especially, I feel that they need to actually teach Twilight what she needs to do to rule. But that's how I feel about the whole episode. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. How did you feel about this episode? Did you enjoy the portrayal of Celestia and Luna? And what did you think about the song Lot of Little Things? Tell me in the comment section below. How did you feel about this episode as a whole? And if you liked this review, leave me a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave me a dislike and tell me what I did wrong in the comment section below. Subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you never miss out on another My Little Pony Friendship is Magic episode review. And if you want to find me on social media, just Google Duuz-Diz-Din. I am everywhere. And until next time, just remember to always ask for help And if you want to be with your family and understand that, sometimes they're different. And compromise is what's key. And until the next video, I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'm going to bed. Bye-bye.